I don't know if it's just me, but reading One Piece has been some of the most fun it's ever been in a while. Like, seriously, for the past 6 months to arguably a year, One Piece Weekly has been some of the most fun, exciting, and engaging manga reading I've had in I don't know how long. It's just top tier. This is due in large part to us being more so in the end game right now, and Oda being able to progress a lot of those plot points he kind of have been put into the back burner, and also just getting more fleshed out views of different characters that, like I said, Oda has been pushing off and making his weight on. But also it's been the development of Luffy himself. During Wano, Luffy grew leaps and bounds, but I feel like ever since Wano, Luffy has even reached even further. And the thing is, not even just in power, but as an overall character and a leader. As the battles draw closer to their end on Egghead, one thing has become blatantly clear. Luffy is going to need to do two things. One, improve his proficiency with Gear 5 Nika mode. Two, improve his overall Haki, but more specifically, Conqueror's Haki. There's something important that a lot of people have seemed to have forgotten because Luffy was so dominant in all his battles since getting Gear 5 up to fighting the Gorosei, and it's simple. As we are in the current part of the story of One Piece, Gear 5 is incomplete. Luffy hasn't mastered it yet. Luffy has done such an amazingly great job with it so far that we kind of overlooked that it's kind of incomplete. Let's break it down a bit. From the beginning, when we were first introduced to Gear 5, it was a hell of a show, and Luffy looked absolutely studly. In Gear 5, he did great against Kaido, but I think a lot of people tend to look back at that fight with rose-tinted glasses, like he just watched Kaido or something, when that was not the case. Kaido was not overwhelmed or overmatched, and he was fighting on even footing with an outrageous power like Gear 5. It's absolutely nuts. Not only was he able to keep up with him, but he had an answer for everything Luffy threw at him. Now, this may be a hot take to some, but I feel like it really shouldn't be. But if Luffy and Kaido fought right now, 1v1, no interruptions, I believe Kaido would get the dub out. It may be just a little bit harder, but I believe he would get the dub out. That being said, Luffy was able to get the dub out with having an incomplete version of Gear 5. We have to remember that Luffy still doesn't know the true extent of his power and his Devil Fruit. He still believes he got the Gum Gum Fruit, and he probably just thinks like, yeah, this is a little different, but it's still the Gum Gum Fruit. He doesn't know that he's the user of the human fruit model Nika. He doesn't know this. Like, only we know it, and then like a few characters within the story. A lot of what Luffy has been doing with his Devil Fruit so far has been based off pure instinct and whim. Now that's not nothing to turn your nose at, because we know that when it comes to regular smarts, Luffy's not that bright, but when it comes to fighting, he's pretty much a tacticianist. And because he knew the insides and out of the Gum Gum Fruit, he was able to do some incredible things with it and push it to its absolute limits. He created so many incredible and creative moves, it's almost hard to believe that Luffy came up with it. I feel like once Luffy learns the true essence of his Devil Fruit and what it is and how it works, he's going to be able to perfect it and take it to a completely different level. Something you can kind of compare it to in another form is when Goku first unlocked Ultra Instinct, and then when Goku perfected it. It was definitely night and day. I think it's going to be the same case for Luffy, as when he finally gets this down packed and like really understand it, he's going to take it to a different stratosphere. Like, you got to remember, this is the same Devil Fruit that Joy Boy used to go against the 20 Kingdoms / the world government. So just imagine all the stuff he was able to do, but I think Luffy's going to be able to do that, but just so much more. In most anime and manga, there is one single word that is tossed around, but seemingly does not really get tossed around that much in One Piece. You know what it is? Prodigy. You don't hear the word prodigy getting tossed around too much in the world of One Piece, even though there are characters where it does actually apply. I would say a guy like Ace can be considered a prodigy, and even someone like Law. But I feel like there is no bigger prodigy in the world of One Piece than Luffy himself. His growth rate is absolutely insane. Like, it's almost unfathomable. Luffy's next step in his growth and evolution as a character, without a doubt, is his Haki. Without a shadow of a doubt, his Haki has to improve. By no means am I saying that his current Haki level isn't good, but if you're comparing it to the top of the top guys when it comes to Haki, he's not a cut above the rest just yet. I think him improving his Haki will be his main focus in the next arc of Elbaf. I don't know if that'll come from him reuniting with Shanks and getting a glimpse of just how high the Haki ceiling can go for some guys, or maybe even will come from him meeting a giant. Either way you slice it, I think that will be the focus. We all remember what Kaido said, in this world, Haki is the true measure of strength, not Devil Fruits. That wasn't just him telling us that was Oda giving us a hint that Haki will play a major role in the ending of One Piece. We know Shanks has some of the most powerful Haki in the world, but I don't think he has the most powerful. I think Rogers was a cut above his, and I think when it comes down to it in the end, Luffy will need to even be above Rogers. Something else I picked up on, and it might just be me, is that when it comes to Gear 5, It's so outlandish and crazy and just out of this world, bouncing off the walls, that when Luffy is in his base form, it kind of makes him seem just a little bit more chill and mature. Maybe it's just me. You know that's really saying something, as Luffy is anything but calm, chill, and mature. He's Luffy. Something else I think we're about to start seeing more emphasis put on when it comes to Luffy is his skills as a leader. Maybe it's just me, but during Wano and post Wano, Luffy's skills as a leader and captain have grown leaps and bounds. Now, don't get me wrong, Luffy still is impulsive, a little bit reckless, and tends to go with his gut feeling, but overall, he's become a better leader. Not only does he know the strength of his crew members, but he knows exactly what he does well and he excels at it. He carries himself as a captain and then he acts accordingly. One of my favorite examples of this as of recent was in chapter 1118, where Luffy, Dory, and Broggy make it back to their ship. As soon as Luffy gets aboard, he says like a small hi and immediately beeline straight to the kitchen for food. Now initially, some will think that this is just Luffy being Luffy, he's hungry, he wants food, but if there's something Egghead Island has shown us this arc, it's that food is not just food anymore when it comes to Luffy. It's actually a mechanism that Oda has written into the story as kind of like a healing factor for him. Luffy goes to the kitchen to eat because he knows his job is not done. They're not free yet. They still have a battle to fight, and he knows he's the one that this falls on the shoulders of. Simply put, in the words of Kobe, he knows the job's not done. I don't feel like we've really seen Luffy's peak yet, and really, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think he's going to be able to do so much more and go way further than he is now. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching, as I appreciate it, and at the end of the day, I just like talking about One Piece just like you guys. Let me know what you think below though. Is Luffy near his peak? Does he have more to go? What is it? Let me know.